Okay, so I'm going to make this video about, as I mentioned in my first video, um, trying to describe Asperger's syndrome, and this is going to be extremely hard, and I'm definitely going to have to do it in several videos because I feel as though if I don't explain it to the best of my ability, I'm not going to be able to get my point across successfully, and the whole purpose of this channel is for, trying to at least a little bit educate. So right now I'm just going to talk about Asperger's syndrome and the relationship between the word Asperger's and the DSM, because it has been changed and people have been up in arms, and apparently they've been up in arms for a while now, but I've been out of the loop because I have been doing other things. But, however, okay, so looking at the DSM IV, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual used to diagnose mental disorders, illnesses, blah, 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 etc., of that such. Yes, so recently, 2013, actually not recently, the DSM V was released, and the criteria for diagnosing people who have particular symptoms and characteristics of Asperger's into a new category has changed. A lot of people are okay with this. A lot of people are very, very, very much not okay with this. So, the DSM-IV, in order for someone to be diagnosed with Asperger's, they must have, supposedly, qualitative impairment in social interaction, marked impairment in use of multiple nonverbal behaviors, failure to develop peer relationships, sharing or lack of reciprocity or sharing experiences, restrictive patterns of behavior, and okay, so that's the blah 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 definition of Asperger's in the DSM. Basically, how I see that is some of Asperger's, from what I have tried to learn, it seems as though there's sort of, ultimately the problem is a communication disconnect, due to the fact that it's a sensory disorder. Different environmental factors are taken into account, in a particular, scenario. So, if a neurotypical, which is how normal people are referred to in this spectrum for some reason, if an exchange is to be occurred from a person who is categorized as having Asperger's and a person who is categorized as not having it, different factors are exchanged. Different sort of pieces of information are picked up. So body language is not understood exactly in the same way, and that can obviously cause problems. I think that fundamentally the social disconnect that occurs is kind of the crux of what becomes a lot of challenges, which is very frustrating. I think people are, it's easy to just look at someone and, not understand that what they're telling you is a little bit weird, but maybe they're trying to say something that you're just not getting, but is important. So it's just, it bugs me how it almost seems as though a lot of the time the medical community, or just, the practice of medicine just sort of pathologizes certain almost personality traits, I think, sometimes. I don't know if I agree with myself completely there, but I think that happens to an extent. Yeah, because specifically with Asperger's, because a lot of the symptoms or characteristics that are involved with this disorder are things that can be very useful and helpful, I think, to both the individual and society in general. For example, due to the fact that there is a lesser ability to form social relations, that means there's a lot more time to do other stuff and think about other stuff, and thinking about other stuff and doing other stuff can be just as important, or if not more important, to society as, the former. So a lot of leading scientists are believed to have had Asperger's, Einstein being one of them. Um, Lots of mathematicians. There's kind of that stereotype uh, that people with Asperger's tend to have a notoriously good memory. Um, so anyway, right now that's what some of the characteristics, or some of the stuff associated with Asperger's, is the stuff I just mentioned. I know it's not enough. I would like to go on and on. I can talk about this until, for hours, but I need to stop because for some reason my computer just does not like it when I make a video that's any longer than 8 minutes. Yeah.